Hey everybody, it's Stan aka Vimlossus, and today we are back with another review for Exclucollective.com. Now today we are taking a look at the S.H.Figuarts, The Last Jedi Kylo Ren. Now this is a S.H.Figuarts, so I expect it to score pretty well. I set a high expectation. Hopefully you guys do as well. But we'll take a look at them. We'll take a look at things like the sculpting, the paint, the articulation, the price point, the overall, and we'll see what kind of score we get. So now this is the latest version from S.H.Figuarts from The Last Jedi. So we get this nice big window here that kind of shows everything. On the side we get where it says Star Wars, and they have their little artwork going on here. On the back we do get some promotional shots of the figure itself, along with the stormtroopers and the executioner. He's got the cool scar on his face. Can't wait to see that up close. And then a bunch of stuff on the bottom. And then on this side we do have another promotional shot. So let's get him out of the box and take a look and see what we got. Alright, and here he is all out of the box. And I gotta say, I'm not feeling it too much. He looks great. Most of the articulation is okay, but man, I was expecting a lot more. Definitely not one of my favorite S.H.Figuarts. And we'll go over, all the sculpting, the paint, and all that stuff. And you can kind of see where some of my disappointments lie. But I don't know. I just expected more. But either way, let's get into it. Let's take a look, and you let me know if I'm just overreacting or I have S.H.Figuarts set to way too high of a standard. Maybe that's it. I don't know, but you guys let us know. Let us know what you think of this figure. But either way, let's take a look at some of the details in the sculpting, the paint, articulation, and all that good stuff, and we'll give him a final score. Alright, now taking a look at what comes in the box. This is Bandai, this is S.H.Figuarts. We know we're going to get a lot of stuff, and they do not disappoint in this aspect. This guy definitely comes with a lot of accessories. It's one thing that kind of has me scratching my head and going, why? But either way, let's go ahead and take a look at them. We'll start off with the heads. The first one that he comes with in the box is just his standard unmasked head with his scar on here. Now, this looks really, really nice. I definitely see the resemblance to Adam Driver here. Nice paint, nice sculpt, great skin tone, hair looks fantastic. So some really great details in here. So this sculpting job on this is really, really nice. So I do like this. I do have a problem with the heads. We'll go over that once we get to articulation. But as far as the paint sculpting goes, this looks really good. And then he does come with his mask, of course. And now this looks really nice as well. It's got this nice matte on here, some really fine details in this sculpting and this paint. So this is a nice option to have, even though, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, you might want to silence it in 3, 2, 1. He crushes his helmet, so I don't think he's going to be wearing it anymore. But either way, this looks really good. I do like the sculpt on here, and I love this helmet. I kind of wish he didn't do that to that in the movie, if you know what I mean. Alright, he does come with his standard lightsaber. Now this looks fantastic. Man, the details in here, the red, this red kind of cable wire going up on the end. This lightsaber, this looks amazing. Some great sculpted details going on in here, nice points on the ends. Everything about this looks incredible. So they did an amazing job here with the paint and the sculpt. But now he also comes with 2 unlit hilts, which confused me at first, but then I saw what they did and went, okay. So this is just his standard one, so I guess he can carry this one in his hand unlit. So it's just the same as the other one, all the great details on the handle. But so you have that one, and then you also get this one, which is an exact replica, except it has the little peg there that you can peg it into his belt so he can kind of carry it on his waist instead of in his hand. And that's what it kind of has me scratching my head. 2 exact things with just a peg. I don't know why they couldn't have just given us one and made his fingers a little more pliable so you can put it in his hand holding it. You wouldn't see that, but yeah, either way, whatever. but they look great. Now, as far as the hands go, we know we're going to get tons of hands, so let's get into these. He does have 2 of the open force wielding hands, like he's doing a choke hold or choke grip or whatever on these. Again, all the details are on here, so these do look fantastic. He has just 2 looser kind of hands. They're not really force hands, more pointing-ish hands, I guess. I don't know. And then he's got the 2, hey, you know, the old Fonzie hands with the thumbs up. I don't know what these are for. I guess if he's out hitchhiking, then these will come in handy. But, yeah, oh well. He does have the 2 closed fists and the 2 lightsaber holding hands, you know, with the open palms. Now these fingers, like we saw on the Praetorian Guards, these fingers are not that loose, so you really do have to slide it in. That's why I was saying, if they had made these just a little more pliable like they did on those Praetorian Guards, we wouldn't have needed the extra hilt with the peg on it and one without. But either way, get a really, really nice range of accessories, and they all look fantastic. So kudos S.H.Figuarts on this. But again, we've come to expect that. But these all look fantastic. Alright, now taking a look at the sculpting details. It's S.H.Figuarts. They do an amazing job on their sculpting, and this guy's no exception. Especially up here in the face. I mean, just some amazing details. Especially in the hair. Now, you know, he is pretty plain. He doesn't have a whole lot going on. He just kind of has his tunic and his belt. But all these sculpted lines, and even on the tunic, he's got this great sculpted texture in here. I don't know if you can hear that. So that's really, really nice. And on the arms, kind of all these little overlapping little bands. So fantastic work on the sculpting details. I love it when they do on the joints, they continue that sculpting, so it's not just plain. You do carry that sculpting throughout, so it does make it a lot less visible, the joints anyway. But overall, really nice job. They got, you know, some good wrinkles down here in the pants. The boots look fantastic with these straps and these buckles. You know, all these little details going on here. Nothing on the bottom. This belt's pretty plain. Just got, you know, some little sculpted detail in there. But overall, man, they did a really good job on the sculpting. Like I said, there's not a lot there. You know, it kind of reminds me of the Praetorian Guards that, you know, we took a look at. There's not a lot, but what is here is done fantastically. Fantastically? Yeah, that's a word. Sure, we'll go with that. So they did a really nice job on this, and it really does. I like the overall figure, or the overall feel of it and the proportions. So everything looks really nice on the sculpt. So for sculpting, we are going to give it a 9 out of 10. And the only reason we're giving it a 9 is just because there's not a lot here. But, you know, that's the movie. That's not them. But still, there's not a lot going on. So can't really give it a 10, can we? Nah, we'll give it a 9. So for sculpting, not bad. A 9 out of 10. Alright, taking a look at the paint, man, if you were to look at just this, you know, from here up, just his head, the paint is amazing. Some great subtle details going on with the paint, and inside this scar, I don't know how they did that without missing and making it look like just a bloody mess. Bloody. Either way, an amazing job on the paint. I mean, look at those eyes. Those eyes look fantastic. Man, I can't wait to take some real shots of this guy. But the rest of it, pretty plain, pretty just kind of two-toned. You do have this kind of charcoal gray going on. And then with the black pieces, the black boots with the pants, you know, which is that same charcoal gray. So not a lot going on in the paint. But what is here looks amazing. Now, again, there's no other paint wash except for the face to kind of bring out any of these details. And I wish more companies would start doing this. I know that would drive the cost up, but man, it just looks so much better when it's like that, especially in the armor. But So, you know, for paint, again, we're going to give it a 9 out of 10 just because, you know, what is here is done very well, especially in this face. Man, that face just looks amazing. But the rest is pretty plain, you know, with just the matte and the it's all matte. It's nothing very shiny except for the boots. But so pretty good job on the paint. We will give it a 9 out of 10. All right, now taking a look at the articulation, this is where I am highly disappointed in this figure, especially from it being an S.H.Figuarts. I expected a lot more, but so let's take a look at it. So, and this is the same for either one of these heads that's on him, and the same with the hands. So anyway, for the head, he can look down about there, but and that's it. You say, oh, well, he can definitely go further, and you're right, he can, but as soon as you go any further, his head just pops off very easily. Now, I'm hoping that's just on mine, and it's the same for looking back. You can kind of get there, but any more, and his head's coming right off. I hate that. Reminds me of the Mafex Superman that I had. You just move the head and it came off. He can rotate around, gets a little bit of tilt, but once again, you go a little too far with it, and it's just coming right off. And it does that for both heads, not just this one, but for the mast head as well. So, major disappointment there. Heading down to the shoulders, he does have these kind of butterfly joints, which is hidden nicely by these pieces here. So he can kind of come in all the way here. He can come back a little bit, which is great. And I like these. These are kind of floating, and they, you know, you can move them around. So once you're done posing them, you can move them to kind of hide that joint. The arm can spin all the way around. Now it does have to come out a little bit because of that piece. They can come up all the way to here. You do have a little bit of upper arm rotation on that ball joint, followed by double jointed elbows, which gets to there, and that is amazing. That's the way an elbow should be. There is no lower arm rotation. He does have, actually there is no swivel. It's just all up here in that shoulder joint. And then the hands rotate all the way around, and they hinge either this way, or you get it going and it can hinge the other way, depending on which way you put the hands on. Now, that's another point of contention for me. All of these hands are very tight, every single one of them. It almost feels like I'm going to break it when I'm switching these hands out. Now, you like a nice tight fit, obviously, so it doesn't come off, but that tight, I don't like feeling like I'm going to break my toy. First world problems, right? I don't feel like I'm going to break my toy switching out the hands. So they are all very tight on there. Now, going down to the waist, another weak point for me. They do have, you know, just that ball joint in there, right? The kind of dumbbell joint. And you usually get a pretty good range of motion. But now on mine, I can only get bending that far forward and that far back anymore, and he's popping loose. Seems like a lot of things just want to pop loose on him. And the same with side to side. I'm not getting a lot of side to side movement anymore, and he just pops right off. And see, there goes his head. So I don't know, very weak right there. You know, he does, you know, rotate around. Now these pieces are split, you know, here on the front and then the sides, not on the back. And he does have the drop down leg feature, so his leg can pull out and he can lift forward quite a bit thanks to these moving. He can kick back that far, and his legs can do almost a full split. Oh, Jean-Claude Van Damme is in the house. Look at that. Anyway, he does get some upper leg rotation going on in there with that joint up there. Does have a single jointed knee, which gets you up to about that far. Not too bad. There is no boot cut, so no lower leg rotation, and the ankles can move forward, they can move back, get a little bit of pivot, and he does have the toe joint. I'm sure you can see that. There we go. Yep. So, man, I'm very very disappointed with the articulation. This head is just, I mean, it pops off. And like I said, it's not just that head, it's both heads. So you put this head on. Now this cut, because it kind of lays over the top, you get even more limited range. But you see that it's just so very loose. Anytime I try to tilt or move the head, it just comes right off. So very disappointed there. And in this body movement as well. So the articulation, man, I'm only going to give it a 6 because that's pretty weak. That's your two of your main points of articulation is in your waist and in the head. And I'm not getting a lot before everything just kind of falls apart. Alright, taking a look at price point. This guy is currently going anywhere between $50 to $60, which is your standard price for your S.H.Figuarts. Now you do get a ton of accessories on here, and the sculpting and the paint do look fantastic. But I feel that they're robbing you with this articulation, and I can't say that you should be paying that much for things that are broken. Now hopefully it's just mine. But again, let us know down in the comments if it's just mine or if everybody's kind of noticed that with this head and the waist, you don't get very much. So I think $50 to $60 for something like that isn't as articulated as it should be for this line. I think it's a little much. So for price point, I'm only going to give it an 8. Now you may go, oh, well, an 8's pretty good. Yeah, an 8 is pretty good, but you do get a ton of accessories, and the sculpt and the paint do look fantastic. So as far as just a statue goes, that's a pretty good price. For an articulated figure, it's not so great. So we'll give it an 8 out of 10. Alright, so overall, man, I'm torn on this one because the paint, the sculpting are all fantastic. The accessories, man, what he comes with is really cool. Most of the articulation is okay, but the head and that waist are killing me. In The Last Jedi, he's a lot more, he does a lot more action, and he does a lot more fighting and a lot more cool things, but we can't do any of that with this figure because his head will just pop off or his body will get cut in half. Come on, he's not Darth Maul or, spoiler alert, and get in 3, 2, 1, or Snoke, where he's supposed to be cut in half. I don't know, for an overall, I can only give it a 7. And this has disappointed me because if you know me, you know Bandai and S.H.Figuarts is probably my favorite line. But this guy, man, he just does not hold up. He looks great standing there, but anything more than that, and no go. So let us know down in the comments what you think. If your figure was better, he stays together better, or his articulation's a little better in the waist than in the head and neck. But I have a feeling it's not. So let us know. So as always, head on over to exclucollective.com and check out a full picture gallery of this guy, whatever I can get him into without him breaking. And stay tuned for our next review. All right, peace.